Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Buddies on Buddies, the show with two real life buddies talking about buddy action comedy movies. I'm Kenny Lane,
I'm Lucas Hill.
and this is the
Buddies
Buddies
on
on.
Buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it going? How you been, buddy? It's been a little while.
It's been a little while. It's good. How are you? How's the new year treating
New
you?
Year's treat me great. I feel good. I look good.
Mhm.
I sound good. I just am. I'm good. I'm the best, better than ever. That's what everyone tells me anyway.
My doctor may disagree, but I feel great.
My blood work says nay, but I say yay.
What did you do for New Year's? Anything?
Well, yeah, there was my Megan works at this place called the Southwest. There was this like classic RV park that you can like rent these old classic 70s RV trailer stuff set in. It's actually a pretty cool spot here on the peninsula in Washington. Anyway, they had a like a big New Year's party, DJ, dance stuff. So I cut a little rug on the dance floor with a bunch of hipsters that night, and I got fucking down.
Good. Was everybody impressed with you?
No, I mostly stayed to a back dark corner, and just kind of danced there. I didn't really try to get too far out on the dance floor, but yeah, we boogied and stuff. And her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend came down and, partied. And then next day I made everybody Captain Crunch pancakes that I got a box of from the store for 99 cents. Those were good. And then we went out golfing. It was a good New Year's.
How'd you shoot?
Oh, I did okay. I think, I got like a foot from the pin on hole 3 off a par 3. I don't think I've ever gotten that close to the pin off my drive, but I shanked my first shot, so it was a mulligan, so it doesn't really count. So it would have been a birdie, but it's probably a bogey now or something.
I shouldn't have asked. No one cares about like, when you ask about the
fuck. Yeah. I don't even keep score most of the time. I just count my fucking pars and birdies. I don't even know what the fuck my handicap is because I don't care.
I assume low. I assume really low though. That's
exactly. Yeah. How about you? What'd you do for New Year's?
Nothing. We stayed in and ate bad food and watched football, and it was nice. Drank champagne. It was good.
Right on. So you're doing the sober January thing?
Yeah, it's called Dry January.
Whatever, sober October, dry January. It's whatever the fuck they want, do. Well, that's good. Kind of flush out your system right before the new year and stuff.
Yeah, it's good. The first week sucks, and then you just kind of get used to it. And
it's not over before you know it.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. It really isn't as hard as I thought it would be. Though I was drinking so much because of the holidays and stuff, like nonstop. Like the first night, I had like cold sweats, like true alcohol withdrawal, like sweats.
Sorry, have these crazy, like intense dreams because you haven't gone to sleep like intense for a long time. Well, I think like January is like a real popular one now to do it because after the holidays, everyone's just drank and ate so much, just like fuck, I gotta fucking flush this shit out of my system. So like a popular month for that. I know.
And I was like, I really don't want to do this while there's playoff football, but there's always going to be something, so you just have to go for it.
Right. It's always somebody's birthday, some holiday, something.
So that's been fun. I get a lot more work done. I get up early, sleep well, read a lot more. Yeah, it's boring, but other than that, it's great.
I'm so much more accomplished. I'm a better person. I get a lot more done, but I'm bored to fucking death. I can't fucking stand it. I'm a better person. I'm just bored.
Can't wait for this to be over. Woo! I do not like this best version of myself.
This best version of myself disgusts me. I need to.
He's a fucking
right back off that wagon.
All right. Well, what movie are we discussing to kick off this 2023 banger of a year?
Yeah, we call this Buddies on Buddies Season 2. This is our second year going into this. Yeah.
Hey, you don't care about your golf handicap? I don't care what we call this fucking thing. So go for it. Yeah.
All right, fine. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to do Lethal Weapon 2, the 1989 Warner Brothers release, starring Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, again, directed by Richard Donner. Again, we just covered Lethal Weapon last episode, but we thought we'd go right into the sequel this time.
Mm-hmm. It's our first sequel, right?
Yeah, we never covered a sequel before, so maybe this is our year of the sequels. Who knows?
Maybe before we jump into it, is there any movies that pop out in your mind that you've seen? I know it's been a while that you want to talk about.
Well, speaking of sequels, last night, Megan and I went out and saw Avatar 2 at the local theater up here.
Now, did you see it in 3D IMAX or is it just regular 2D local
I
theater?
just went to the regular 2D version at my local theater here on the peninsula. I was talking to somebody today, and they're like, "You're not even, your opinion doesn't even fucking count because you didn't see it in 3D IMAX." And I was like, "I didn't fucking watch this on my fucking watch, I didn't pirate it on that shit.
Well,
I went to the
Kenny,
fucking theater."
your opinion doesn't count, but for other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like it?
As what are those reasons?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's just stick to Avatar right now, right?
Oh yeah.
Did you like Avatar too?
I'll say I didn't hate it, but I was not stoked to see it. It was just there's nothing else been playing for forever. I hadn't been to the movies since like October. And I love going to the movies, so it was just like, oh, fuck it, let's just go, see Avatar 2. I'm glad I went and saw it. It was a fun experience. The movie I was not stoked for. I wasn't a big fan of the first Avatar. This is kind of more the same to me. Again, 3 hours. It was really long, but I knew that going in. So this is, gonna be endless. So anyway, like Megan made these homemade weed gummies that she's been doing, and I ate one before we went in. And about an hour into it, I just started getting the fucking giggles, and I couldn't really stop. I think it was when they were talking about a poem and they're swimming around and going, and stuff like that. And he's like talking to a whale or some shit. And I couldn't stop laughing. And so, I mean, it was funny, it was fun, but that's a silly fucking movie. Yeah. Anyway,
I want to be as pretentious as it was fine. It's just like the first one. Like I saw 3D IMAX, Universal City Walk, great IMAX screen, opening day, great seats. And it was an awesome experience. I would not suggest watching this in 2D or at home or in any other, because you're like in it, like this is awesome. The movie's fine.
Yeah.
But the experience, it's a ride, So in that regard, I agree with the pretentious asshole you were talking to.
Okay, great. Well, anyway, but I don't. I didn't feel it was as long as the Batman. I mean, last time you saw the 3 hour movie, The Batman, we were, it was. I felt this didn't feel as long as the Batman. What did you think?
It still felt long, but not as long. I had to get up to go to the bathroom. We're in the middle of the thing. I figured somebody's going to get up, so I'll just wait till people start going to the bathroom. No one was getting up. But I get up and I'm like, "Excuse me, sorry," and I felt like everybody was just staring at me, going, "What an asshole!" In the middle of Avatar.
Avatar, you gotta go past like 30 people in a fucking IMAX row and shit like that. Excuse me, sorry.
And you had to
I'm
come
breaking
back.
I'm breaking the 3D magic. I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
I did.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Coming through. VIP. Fuck out. I did like, if I could give the movie like some praise, I did like the family dynamic depicted. Just I can't remember the last movie that depicted like a family like that, where they're all kind of their own characters and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty well done. James Cameron, like, I don't think he's ever going to learn his fucking lesson because he's always right. It's like back to Terminator 2. It's like, you're $100 million. That was unheard of back then. And then it's like, oh, Titanic. Oh, he went 200 million. Oh, he's going to fucking lose his mind. Oh, Avatar 2. It's been 13 years. He's fucking stupid. He just every time. I mean, he came up. He was like, I want to make a $5 billion budget movie. I'm like, okay,
And now every 2 years, Avatar is going to make $2 billion, $3 billion. So good for him.
I guess, but I'm kind of disappointed still that he's devoted the rest of his life to making Avatar movies and not anything else.
Well, it's quite the legacy. He's going to make a lot of money. So
yeah,
whatever. You want to jump on Lethal Weapon 2?
Well, I was going to ask you, did you see anything else? Did you watch Glass Onion?
Yeah, I did.
What'd you think?
It was okay. I preferred Knives Out. Knives Out was much more grounded. Glass Onion was big, silly, and like
it was kind of
like a family in the house. Yeah, exactly. It was like
there's kept throwing in more and more shit. And I was like, wow. But I got it. I mean, it made enough sense, and I thought it was fun, and entertaining. But again, it's very, very bloated and just like Jesus. They just kept piling this stuff on.
I hate fake out deaths, and that had a big one, and that bothered me. But whatever.
Yeah.
It was okay. I mean, the humor wasn't as sharp. It was much more.
The
hit you over the head with it.
Yeah.
Whereas Knives Out was slightly more subtle and.
Yeah. Rian Johnson, when he goes for jokes, it's just like a fucking, ultimately, like, I thought it was a fine movie, and it was, pretty well mounted or whatever. Like, it's,
it was well executed. I think he's a great director. Don't get me wrong, and writer. But yeah, this one was a little too jokey. It's like, This is pure comedy, whereas Knives Out was more subtle satire. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, it wasn't as much in your face or just like I said, just this kind of big bloated thing coming at you, you know, where it was more like a classic, like, you know, mystery where Glass Onion just felt like just so much fucking crap packed in there. But yeah, I still liked it. It was fine. But it was such a, do you have a favorite movie of 2022? It was like, I was trying to think of one. I haven't seen like Tar and stuff, but like I can't really think of a favorite movie I had last year.
Tar was really good. I don't know if you'll like it, but it was really good. Yeah. That one sticks out. Not really. I'd have to look at my letterbox to see like the movies I saw and shit, and like my notes. I haven't even thought about it. So.
Yeah, I'm just like my favorite movie of the year. It's like Bullet Train, like it's Top Gun 2. Like these are the best of the year. I know. Of course, I didn't see a lot of the stuff, but yeah, it just seems like this is especially a really weak year. I remember Gene Siskel called 1998 like a really weak year for movies. And I look back at that list, and there's easily like 20 movies from that year like was better than anything I saw last year.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe it'll age. Who knows? Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I watched Barbarian. That was a cool movie.
Oh, the horror movie thing? I haven't seen that yet. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. No, nothing off the top of my head. Oh, well. Look, I drank my way through 2022, so who knows? It's not my fault.
So I don't remember anything I fucking saw, so fuck it all.
I wanted to do shrooms before Avatar, but I chickened out.
Yeah. I went as far as a weed gummy. That was it.
Especially since we saw it at Universal City Walk, so you had to walk through.
Well, that's just way too many fucking people and parking and walking and all that kind of crap.
Anyway, I'm glad I didn't do it. I freaked out just going to the bathroom. I don't know if I was on shrooms if I would have been able to handle that. So
I don't know if I've ever been to like the movies on a hallucinogen. Like I don't know if I like shrooms or LSD. Like I don't think I've ever had.
We went to because we used to do acid and go to the Dollar Theater near my house.
Oh, I think you told me. Sorry, can I name the two movies you're gonna name?
Yeah, sure.
You saw Ghost in the Darkness and Beverly Hills Ninja.
yeah. Ghost in the Darkness.
Like a good double feature.
Ghost in the Darkness is a fucked up movie to watch on acid. I love that movie to this day. But Beverly Hills Ninja, my friend, you know Ben, he kept screaming like loud so everybody in the theater could hear him. No way a fat dude could get a hot chick like that. And we're just dying laughing.
Well, finally, a guy speaks the truth in a movie theater. You know, like calls the movie out, and it's lack of verisimilitude.
And that was the funniest movie I'd ever seen until I saw it sober.
Oh yeah, I think I watched it like not too long ago, like on DVD. It's like like that and Black Sheep are pretty fucking terrible movies. Like it's like Tommy Boy still holds up, okay. Yeah. But it's most of Chris Farley's stuff is pretty fucking terrible, and he knew it too. He was not a fan of most of his movies.
He was also doing a lot of drugs at the time when he was doing those, and like, what's the Almost Famous or Almost Heroes or whatever it's called?
Almost Heroes because it has a couple of it's directed by Christopher Guest. It's like one of those only like non-Christopher Guest style movies, and that has a couple of really funny moments. But the movie doesn't work, but there's a couple of moments that are pretty fucking funny.
Well, he has two comedic guys who are at their peak drug-induced alcoholism and shit. Both the leads, Matthew Perry and Chris Farley, just drugged out of their minds. All right, let's get to Lethal Weapon 2. You want to do the plot synopsis?
Lethal Weapon 2. Well, Riggs and Murtaugh are back, and this time they get involved in a South African drug smuggling ring. These kind of high up guys that are part of the South African government, I guess. And they get involved, in a case trying to nab them and go after them. And that's essentially the plot of Lethal Weapon 2. It doesn't really have a, real pumping plot. I mean, it's mostly like, hey, here's your two friends from the last movie, and now they're back in action.
And you rewatched it. I know you're overly familiar with this movie, but did you rewatch it for this?
I did rewatch it for this, yeah.
What'd you think? Not giving it a rating, but did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did enjoy it. I think it's a really good movie. I think it's as far as these things go, I think buddy action comedies, I think it's up there as far as as good as it gets. I mean, I think I might actually prefer the first one. I think it's a better, more tight movie. But as far as it doesn't really have the comedy thing, this one had a couple times that actually really made me laugh. So I would say this is, and I think, Mel Gibson and Danny Glover are great. Joe Pesci being in it really, as game, it's a lot of it is not believable. A lot of stuff is like, wait a minute, what? But that's how these buddy action comedy movies go. So
yeah,
how about you? What do you think overall?
I like the first one more too. Like I was watching, I was like, this is fine action movie. You know, their
Mm-hmm.
chemistry's great. I have more notes, but yeah, but at the end, I was like, I like the first one more. Like you said, it's a tighter, more interesting.
Yeah.
There's more emotion in it, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's just so much, it's so much deeper than this one, which is just an action movie. Like there's not a lot
Yeah.
of resonance outside of it being a really cool action movie. Set piece after set piece.
Yeah, it does its job very well. I think it nails like as good as a Lethal Weapon sequel probably could be. It's just I think like if you had to just choose one Lethal Weapon movie, I think it's the first one, obviously.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Couple notes. I noticed this. He does this in the first one too. He gets out of it, the car, and runs faster than the cars during the car chase. Mel Gibson.
Yeah, they brought that back. Yeah, Riggs go up the highway on foot, and then the station wagon also like keeping up with these like Porsches or Jaguars or some shit. You know, like I did like though that the movie opens just right in the middle of a chase.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a cool way to open. Just slam, you're right there. And I also noticed that the Looney Tunes melody plays over like the Warner Brothers logo, like dan, 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 dan. Like I think it's letting you know that this is a fucking cartoon, so don't take it too seriously.
Him cracking up just on the Looney Tunes things, but him cracking up while watching Three Stooges is the funniest thing to me. He turned it on like 1 second, he's just belly laughing at the Three Stooges.
Well, I think that's a real Mel Gibson thing. I think there was some Three Stooges like retrospective he introduced in like the 90s or something. I think he is a huge fan of Three Stooges. I've heard Mel Gibson has a very basic sense of humor. That's why he loves like the fucking red nose shit and like all that kind of stuff. So I think he is a big and he does some Three Stooges shtick in the first one too. It's like the slapping the guys and going like all that kind of stuff.
Three Stooges fucking suck. Let's see what else do I have.
What?
Hey, look! Hey!
Yeah, hey! Whoa! Hey! Oh, wow!
Well, some of that ages, but like Charlie. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, that joke you told me about. Do you want to tell it by why women don't think the Three Stooges are funny?
No, you tell. I don't remember it.
You remember that? You used to tell me something. Okay, why don't women think the Three Stooges are funny?
Why?
Because they're not.
Not really a joke.
Maybe you're just talking to me. That was really a joke.
Where does Mel Gibson live? He was like in $1 million.
Oh yeah, that's part of my notes here. Because I guess in the first one it's supposed to be like he lives in this fucking like shitty RV on the beach, where like as opposed to Murtaugh lives in like suburbia and stuff. But that piece of land, if you're in Malibu or whatever. The first one is you can't really see where he lives, but in like this little cove thing right there, like that piece of property would be like $1 million. Just park your RV there, because I know they have RV parks like in Malibu. When I go surfing, I drive past them, and those cost a lot of money to park your RV there every fucking day. So you can't just pull in your RV in Southern California and just like pull up to a beach like here's where I live now.
Let me fanfic retcon some of this. He has an old war buddy who gave it to him and lets him stay there. Yeah.
Okay, fixed. Good.
Fix that for you.
Yeah.
One of the best scenes in the movie, most memorable, was when he has the bomb on the toilet. Why did the bad guys write the warning on the toilet paper?
Boom, you're dead.
Yeah.
I think so. Make him like jump up off his seat, and then he would explode.
He's gonna get off the seat anyway.
I think also just to fuck with him a little bit. I mean, there's lots of like one-liners back and forth between the bad guys and good guys. I mean, like the bad guy even says to one cop before he shoots him, was like, "I'm just wondering, have your brains ever seen the light of day?" Like why don't you shoot him? Because you gotta say something cool. Before or after you kill somebody in these movies, always.
I guess there's a lot of that. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. With that toilet scene, though, I thought that was a great scene. I thought the acting with Mel Gibson and Danny Glover is great in that. The tight close-ups back and forth. I think that's scenes very, really well done.
When they say "I love you" without actually saying it, he's like, "Hey, man," he's like, "I know," that's good stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of homophobia throughout.
Sure, granted.
Lots of homophobia. Speaking of the toilets, I love the montage of all the detectives getting killed. That's really a great way to raise the stakes.
Okay, you asked about the bomb toilet paper thing. I have a question about that montage. Okay, so I had to rewind and I watched that when the woman off the diving board, who's
the dummy spits around,
Well, not the dummy thing, but the explosion comes from up under the pool. And there's also one kind of a back behind, but like you could clearly see the explosion is coming from the. So why would you plant a bomb? I think the thing was they planted a bomb on the diving board, so when she goes out, it triggers it. But you can clearly see the explosion is coming up under the pool.
Now, if you can clearly see it, I didn't see it? You had to rewind it to check.
Yeah, I did.
Could you clearly see it?
You can clearly see it if you look for it. It's clearly coming from the bottom of the pool, which probably for a stunt, if you're using a person or if you're using a dummy, who cares? But like, why would you plant a bomb to kill somebody at the bottom of a fucking pool?
You're just being a dork now. No one cares about this stuff.
Well, here's your fucking boom, you're dead on the toilet paper. I can bring up the fucking bomb on the fucking pool. Where's your answer, smart guy?
I don't have any answers, just questions.
Yeah.
When I first remember watching this many times when I was younger, I haven't watched it in many years. I remember thinking the girl Mel Gibson was dating, her death was such a shocker. Now I realize how telegraphed that fucking is. Like, of course she's gonna die.
Is it?
So obvious. Yeah, he's like, I'm so happy. I love you too. You know, like, when can I see you next? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And he's like skipping away, slides down a thing. It's like, oh, she's dead.
Well, I saw this movie when I was like 7 or 8, which is crazy to think it's like this the age of my nephews who like get freaked out when Harry Potter gets too scary for them, you know. But so I think this might have been one of the first times like a nice person is killed in the movie that you weren't expecting it.
Right.
It's like, oh my god, but now it's like, oh, of course they're gonna fucking kill her off. Like, why not? You know?
Yeah, you're probably right. What is with kids being so soft these days? I mean, I can't believe it.
I just man talk like damn kids these days. Like they don't watch RoboCop. They watch fucking.
Well, let me ask you this: where do your nephew's parents live?
Portland.
Oh, there's your answer.
What the fuck's that mean?
They're woke liberals. They won't let their kids watch Lethal Weapon when they're 7. It's weird.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's disgusting. This country, man. This fucking country, I swear to God.
Well, when I was like 9, I was going to the movies by myself in John Day, Oregon, like, one for Basic Instinct, please. You know?
You got it, kiddo.
Yeah, they didn't give a shit as long as I gave them like $4.
Riggs is Mel Gibson, right?
Yes.
He keeps threatening to fuck the bad guys. Did you notice that? He does it like 3 times. He literally just says, I'm going to fuck you. Yeah. I'm going to fuck you in the ass. Like, that's it?
Well, that's you know, part of the insults back then. But I did love him throwing racist, like calling them like they're racist and shit, throwing that shit at them. Like, so coming from Mel Gibson, it's like, well, look, it's the superior race. You know, where's Hitler? Like, it's like, yeah, go get him, Mel. Go after those racists.
Yeah, that was funny. I like that they're fighting Nazis, even though they're South American, but it's the same thing.
Well, apartheid guys, not Nazis.
Yeah, but they even call them Nazis and stuff. Like, let's go get these Nazis. Oh, that was kind of funny. Speaking of, like, where do you stand on teaching systematic racism and stuff in schools?
Where'd this come from?
Well, because that's the problem with what's going on in this movie in South Africa.
Sure,
that had lasting effects that are still felt today. So,
sure, yeah.
A critical race.
Way to shoehorn in a political question into this.
Where do you stand?
Out of nowhere, yeah. How about guns in America, Lucas? Where do you stand? This is a handgun movie. It glorifies guns. Where do you stand on that?
I'm going to go back to my question. Where do you stand on teaching critical race theory?
I won't back down.
School?
No.
Critical
race theory. Yeah, critical race theory. Well, basically, critical race theory is a
no one asked you what it is. I asked you where do you stand on it being.
Can I fucking answer? Or are you gonna cut me off?
Well, you cut me off all the time. You cut me off all the time.
Obviously, you love critical race theory.
You don't want to. You're afraid to answer the question, Mr. Lane. You're afraid to answer the question.
Critical race theory, I think, should be taught.
Here's what I thought was interesting. Adding Joe
Pesci. Me off again? Why would you ask a question and then cut me off?
Because you're not answering the question, Mr. Lane. You're not answering the question.
Yeah.
Adding Joe Pesci. No, Mr. Lane, you were not.
Okay, fine. I won't answer it then. You cut me off.
Adding Joe Pesci was a risk because they already had.
So you don't want me to answer the critical race theory thing,
Mr. Lane.
Yeah.
Adding Joe Pesci in the mix because they already had such great chemistry. So adding a third in the mix, I thought was kind of risky, but of course it's Joe Pesci, and they played off each other so well. It's so good. Yeah. He's the highlight of the movie. He's so funny.
He's great. And my one big laugh I had with the movie is when they're driving back from like fucking with those guys, and then they're like Riggs and Murtaugh are sitting in the front seat, and Joe Pesci's in the back, and he goes, "But you're Blick," and they all start cracking up. Like that really made me laugh.
I never noticed before, but when towards the end when Riggs is killing that guy and he's just shooting him, and in his head it's the voiceover of all the detectives' names.
Yeah, I think that was added later. I think that was added later. I think because he just kept blowing that guy away, and he walks all the way up to him, starts shooting him point blank. I think that was just too jarring.
Some of the things were off, like he's all shot up, and then he gets closer, and he's not bloody at all.
Yeah, I think this was monkeyed around a little bit with the editing and stuff, but I think it works. But yeah, that definitely when he starts calling out the names in his head, I think that was just added later. Also when he kills. Oh, go ahead.
No. You got it.
When he kills the bad guy, as far as having a knife to his throat, and then he's like, no, almost like you're not worth it type thing. Then he just walks over to this button and just hits it. That just completely drops this giant freight fucking car on the guy. So he's like, I'm not going to kill you with a knife, but I will drop a giant freight thing on you.
And he had no idea that guy was going to get up and try to kill him. I think he was going for that button. He never looks back.
Well, why is there a button that just drops a freight thing? That could really hurt somebody.
And how the fuck does he know? How does he fucking know how these freight thing works? Like, does he know his way around these giant?
That was like that Man from Toronto thing where Kevin just hits a button and just a trap door. Then Ellen Barkin falls into a fucking. How did he know that fucking button did that? Like,
what else? Oh yeah.
Let's see here.
Well, I have one final major note, and then I'm done with my notes. All of the detectives, all of the deaths, all of this would have been avoided if Mel Gibson would have just let shit go and quit fucking with these guys so much. They didn't even do that much to him. If he had they have diplomatic immunity, what the fuck ever. All they have are simple lines. He just wouldn't let it go. He wouldn't let it go, and he got all these people killed because of it.
I gotta push back on that because I think these are bad guys that would have kept doing bad shit, that would have kept murdering people, stealing, and the worst, dealing drugs, the absolute worst. So, that's, I think they were good to go after him and take him down before more damage down the road could have happened.
All right, but they were just getting ready to leave and fuck off back into South Africa. Why didn't you just let them go?
You want to let them get away after they came in your home and tied your wife up and all that shit? Fuck that. Let's murder those sons of bitches.
Well, then I think that they should make a sequel or like a 2.5 with Mel Gibson going to all those detectives' families and explaining that they were bad guys and they had to go. And that's why your mom and dad are dead.
I think that should be implicit. I think obviously the people coming out of the movie theaters at the time, which gave this movie an A+ cinema score, by the way, was a rare A+.
Understandably.
I don't think anyone was like, did those bad guys really deserve to be killed? I don't know.
Well, I'm not talking about the fucking idiots. Fucking Transformer movies get A's and shit. So,
well, sure, yeah, but A's are fine, but A+ are somewhat rare, though.
Yeah. Also, this is more of a retrospective. This is years later. I'm allowed to view it through a different prism than walking out of the theater.
Well, sure, but a couple more things about the movie though. What do you think about the chase through Malibu? Like the rigs on the car thing seemed very kind of Raiders, Lost Ark, to me.
Yeah, it was fun. All the actions and every action sequence is completely different. I love that sequence. I like that they stop and Joe Pesci runs out and gets the gun.
That's just a lot of fun. Death by surfboard, though.
Yeah, that's always great. That's been in my memory.
That was like Final Destination. Like, there's all this shit happens, and then a truck just carrying a surfboard just flies, just kills it. Like, was he decapitated? What the hell happened?
That's one that since my childhood, that's been seared in from the first time I ever saw that movie. The surfboard killing a guy. I love that Murtaugh gets his own action sequence and kills the guys in his house. Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Great line.
Nailed it. Nailed those guys. Nailed them both. I also love all the shit that's set up. Like they go in like, hey, a nail gun, in the first 15 minutes, and then of course
they do it twice, like kabang, kabang, so this is a fucking gun,
Yeah, good stuff.
What about the when Riggs pulls that fucking house off stilts? Well, house is on stilts. I remember, I think it was our screenwriting teacher in Scottsdale Community College. Like that was his go-to thing of when something just so ridiculous happens, it takes you out of the movie. So because can a little truck like that really yank a whole fucking house off a cliff like that? I don't know.
No, but who cares? Give a shit. Like you said, no one was leaving the theater going, that's bullshit. No, they were leaving the theater going A+ cinema score. And I know what teacher you're talking about, and I'm not a fan of him. So you
used to fucking yell at him. You're a fucking idiot. It's very entertaining class. Good old 18, you know.
Yeah, knows everything. Yeah. In my defense, the guy's kind of a douchebag, and I was.
He was a douchebag. Well, he had this like Cheers jacket that he wore like all the time. He would always talk about Cheers. Can you imagine if I walked around with like a South Park jacket still? I would just bring up South Park like all the time.
He did like one season on Cheers, and he got an Emmy for it. Like he had anything to do with that show. Like he's fucking.
Well, I technically got an Emmy for working on South Park, but it's like a certificate Emmy. But I've seen people also post those on Facebook, like not from the show I was on, but other shows. Like, I have an Emmy. It's like, do you know? Is that really an Emmy? Not really.
I love that scene. That scene's awesome.
Yeah. How about Hank from Breaking Bad? He pops up in this movie.
He pops up a lot.
Basically, Hank. Yeah, he's in Terminator 2. Yeah, in one scene. Yeah.
He pops up a lot. It's weird that he's been working so long and then he just gets this magical role in Breaking Bad. Now he's like,
well, as like he's like Dennis Franz. He like always plays a cop. He's probably played a cop like fucking dozen or 24 things.
Yeah, it was great seeing
the therapist at the squad is always played for laughs in these movies. I've noticed she's always just like the and so Riggs probably obviously needs therapy, but just like he's like, yeah, whatever, shrink, fuck off,
Yeah, he's ripping a house off its stilts in fucking Hollywood. Yeah, he needs a therapist more than anything. Yeah. I didn't like that guy was responsible for his wife's death. I thought that was like retcon bullshit. But
that's a little contrived. As far like you bring it back, so it has that extra emotional stakes in there. Didn't really mind, but this time I did feel like that's a bit much and stuff. I will say, "Cheer Down," the George Harrison song at the end of this movie, might be my favorite of all the movie songs that we've covered so far for a movie. I think it's a great George Harrison song. I think that's probably my favorite of these buddy action comedy, like closing credits, like songs.
Did he write it for the movie, or is it just?
Joel Silver got him to write. Like, well, I don't know if he got for the movie, but maybe it was released with the soundtrack. That was it for a while. Did you ever see the like 6 or 7 years ago? There was the Lethal Weapon TV show on Fox, like years and years later, with Damon Wayans and this other guy.
I didn't watch it, but I was thinking about it because all that drama behind the scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
Guy who played Riggs got himself fired and sank the show, even though it was doing really well because he was fucking.
It was doing really well. It went for 3 seasons. They brought Sean William Scott on to replace him in the third season as a new character, which I thought was hilarious. It's like Damon Wayans has partnered with another suicidal cop. I'm like, what? I saw an episode of it. Yeah, I saw an episode of it. It wasn't that bad, I don't think, for a network show. I don't really watch those, but I mean, it wasn't that great either. But like, yeah, it did last actually a few, like 3 seasons, which is more than most of the like TV shows based on movies do.
No, it was doing great in the ratings. Honestly, if he didn't lose his fucking mind, it'd still be going on, I'd imagine. And it costs a lot of people their jobs. Like it's so.
Well, I heard him and Damon Wayans did not get along at all, but I've heard I heard a lot of people say that like with Damon Wayans, it's one of those actors that like James Belushi or something. Like just not a lot of people have nice things to say.
Yeah, but everything I read is mainly this guy was fucking crazy and no one on set.
Yeah, it sounded like he was being all method and shit.
Yeah,
like I'm gonna go for it, man.
There's some violence and some. I don't remember, it was years ago, but yeah.
Oh, did you watch the Mel Gibson's video diary thing I sent you?
I have watched it. I didn't rewatch it. I watched it years ago, but yeah, it's like what you said with the red nose, and I'm doing all these stupid like pranks and trying to be funny.
A lot of really weird pranks, and like him like using like dummies on set and like throwing them down stairwells, blowing them up, and being like, "Wow, I hope nobody saw that." Just it's like Mel Gibson's first directing credit. To think that he went on to do like Apocalypto and like Braveheart and stuff like that. But it's also just you gotta think about how much downtime these guys have on these big sets and stuff. Imagine you can just this is done with like a little VHS camcorder back in the day. But I think it's very odd, or especially for Mel Gibson fans to check it out. It's as far as those those behind the scenes featurettes.
Let me ask you this: do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, Richard Donner, I guess, was shocked to find out that Mel Gibson was drinking a 6-pack each day before he came to work. And Richard Donner is known to be a very professional guy, and I think that movie Postcards from the Edge, Gene Hackman's character is based on Richard Donner, so he's kicked people off the set before for being fucked up, But I guess Mel Gibson was like, he always came prepared and on time and did his lines, everything. But Mel Gibson later told me like, oh yeah, I was like shit-faced that whole movie. Like, wow.
That's impressive. Well, good for Mel Gibson.
Yeah, he was very impressed. Yeah,
it's good that it never came back to bite him in his ass either. So that's good.
No, no controversy with him ever about that.
His brain's not rotting. He's fine.
Yeah.
So I didn't do much research. Shane Black only did the story for this. Did he not write the screenplay for it?
No. Well, he wrote a draft for it, but then also like it was discarded because it was like a downbeat ending because he thought Mel Gibson's like role was to die finally. Mm-hmm. Like he's gonna sacrifice himself for Murtaugh's family. That was gonna be his thing. Producers didn't like that. They wanted like the series to have it open ended, so for more sequels. So they brought on Jeffrey Boehm to do the script. Jeffrey Boehm is a pretty impressive writer. He's got like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and Lost Boys and a bunch of other ones. He died actually really young, but he wrote the script for this one. I think he did Lethal Weapon 3 too. But if you look at the writing stuff, I mean, there's a lot of drafts. There's a lot of rewrites. I think this one, I definitely think 3 and 4 are ones that started without a finished script that they were just kind of writing as they went, which I guess is a shockingly like kind of typical, even for some of these big budget, a lot of these big budget movies. They just they have a release date. There's like, we have the act, let's go. So they're kind of just doing it on the fly.
Yeah, I was just curious. How did this do at the box office?
Box office was a fucking smash. It basically, like the first one was a hit, like Die Hard actually a lot. Like the first one was a hit, solid hit. The second one was a fucking smash. Like it made, I think the budget was like 30 million, which was pretty average for like a big movie back then. But it made like 225 million worldwide, which was fucking gangbusters for fucking back then. And it opened up in a crowded summer too. It was like the summer of Batman, Indiana Jones, Ghostbusters 2. It opened the week before License to Kill, and just completely ran over License to Kill. The James Bond movie was the lowest grossing James Bond movie adjusted for inflation ever. And they used to like release pretty much most of the James Bond movies in the summertime, but they have not released a James Bond movie in the summertime since it came out a week after Lethal Weapon 2. That's how much this movie just rolled over that one.
And how would you rate this?
Well, I really liked it. I thought it was really solid. I mean, if we're gonna do it like buddy action comedy movies, I'd say it's probably like a 5 out of 5 or a 4.5 out of 5. I would say like it's, yeah, I think I still like the first one, a bit more tight, compact, just complete movie. And you almost have to see the first one to really appreciate this one, I think. But yeah, I just think it doesn't really get to this high level of production values and the actors and everything I thought it all works. So I would rate it pretty high.
Yeah, I'd give it 4.5 out of 5 for a buddy action comedy. It's one of the all-time classics. As a movie, 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's solid. It's good. It's a little better than good, but I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to like it. And I like the first one much more. So not much more, but noticeably more.
Well, I think we've been going into it with kind of high expectations. So as we've been doing this stuff, we start thinking about like the big classic, like, buddy action comedy movies. I kind of almost like don't want to go, except now I've like got Midnight Run is so elevated in my head now. If we go back and watch Midnight Run, it's not as good as I thought it would be. I'm like, man, it's crushing. But, I still think it's a good movie.
Will we have to at some point visit Lethal Weapon 3, or is that when it hits kind of an ensemble? Because you got Renee Russo, you got
3 and 4 get a little crowded with like how many people in there. I mean, it kind of veers off that more. It's like an ensemble piece than after that. So I don't know. We could probably still cover it down the road for sure.
Is there anything you want to do next? We'll probably have to take a couple of weeks off, but is there anything you want to do next? Is there a movie that's been burning a hole in your pocket, so to speak?
Not really. Whatever gets you on the show, I want to do. That's my main MO, because it's so hard lately to get you to commit to an episode. So whatever Lucas wants to do, I'm there.
Well, I'm a big popular guy, dude. I got a lot of shit to do. Got a shit ton of friends. Got a hot wife.
Yeah, it's all very LA speak. It's
all very LA.
Yeah. You talk about how busy you are, and you're not doing anything. I know you're not doing anything. It's just I'm so busy. I'm so busy all the time. I got friends, so many places to do. Okay.
Don't yell at me.
Okay. So you want to ask me about?
Do you want to go into why you don't believe critical race theory is real?
Critical race theory, yeah.
Why don't you tell them about how? No, I'm all seriousness, okay, Mr. Lane.
Yeah, sure.
Why don't you just tell them about your theory on slavery? I think everybody would like to hear that.